Coming up on The Big Room.
The rich guy shows up to the small little town and turns everything around.
Oh my God, yeah. The city boy meets the small town girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
The small town girl who's moved from the big city to take it slow.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark.
You know, all it's missing is like snow and Christmas. Welcome back to The Big Room. Nick made it.
I'm back.
He
Wow.
walked all the way here.
Yeah, my car's still charging in Georgia.
Still charging.
Should be done by the time I Uber back.
What percent was it at?
It was like 30.
How many AA batteries did you have to like?
So many.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
But I got
batteries.
Duracell, so they last a long time.
How stupid do you
Ooh.
feel for having an
Name
electric car
brand.
now?
It won't ever leave the state of Florida again.
But what happens when because you leave all the time and you drive?
We'll get there when we get there. I
go
don't know.
all the time. Like every 3 months, you're like,
It-
I need Nashville, and you leave.
That's a good question. I don't know.
You're
this car is not going to last
Like
long.
2 or 3 months ago, he was really excited to do a road trip in his car, and the rest of us in a Discord were like, "You're an idiot," and here's why. And guess what?
I knew. Okay, I knew it was going to be longer, obviously. But what I didn't anticipate I anticipated my range dropping when I got into the mountains.
Yeah.
But it dropped like 75% more than I thought it was going to.
That's a lot.
And we were stopping like every 100 miles.
So it added like what? Like
It added 5 hours.
5 hours.
Because I was very anxious and
God.
stopped too much. It added
5
like
hours.
3 on the way back.
Wow.
But still,
Insane. Well, and you were downhill too,
yeah.
coming down the mountain where
When she comes.
Because Nick's here, he has waterboarded us with Pixar's Cars. I was so glad that you got stranded and eaten by badgers last week because I didn't have to watch Cars. And then what happened
But I'm
was,
back.
normally we watch the movie is on Tuesday nights, and we just didn't. We're like, we're not watching that. I watched it during work and like half.
Oh yeah,
nuts.
we didn't.
She didn't watch it
I
at
didn't
all.
watch Cars. I texted him and was like,
You've seen it that
so
many times.
Yes.
We don't have to watch this, right? Because listen, Dancing with the Stars was on last night,
Oh, God.
and like I had to watch that instead.
I had to
Okay?
watch the White Sox almost. Well, they won actually, so they're not the worst baseball team of all time. But this iPad tonight does not have like fart sounds on it. It has the White Sox game because there's no
Right
hot
now.
points because it's Cars.
Who's the hottest car? I don't
Mater.
know.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Who's the hottest car to you right now?
Okay, does that mean car like as an anthropomorphic character, or like what automobile do I think looks the best?
But in the Cars universe.
Either way, I would want the Porsche. So it's Sally.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd take the 911. It's like the best car in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Same answer for both questions.
That's not true, actually. There's a car in the movie that I own.
There is.
Oh.
Yeah, Lightning McQueen's like fangirls are NA Miatas.
They flash them with the
They
headlights.
flash him with the headlights.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be their tits.
Yeah.
That's adult.
Adult humor.
Cars, dude.
Cars.
I don't even know when this came out. I didn't look it up. I think it was 06.
2006.
I don't know the budget. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do
Wow,
any
man.
research?
No,
I got you.
I had a problem where I was watching the White Sox instead.
I see.
$120 million budget.
Yeah, it probably made $500 million.
462 million.
Yeah, nearly
That's a
half
lot.
a billion.
Insane.
That's a lot.
I saw this in theaters. Pretty sure.
I think I did too.
2006.
That was the last time I did watch it.
Oh, really? I saw it. Danielle mentioned on the show last week, but she was somewhere and I was just watching Cars. She came home. We won't rehash that whole thing. But,
Yeah.
so I watched it.
It was funny.
I think late last year or early this year, which is why I just didn't want to watch it. And I will not watch it again until at least 2029. I'm so sick of Cars. I want to just throttle Owen Wilson with a belt.
As a 31-year-old who just watched it for the first time yesterday,
What'd you think?
I get it now. I get the
He's
hype.
gonna
You
buy
get the
Lightning
Cars
McQueen
hype?
Crocs.
No. Here was the thought I had.
Ka-chow.
If I was 13, I would be all in on the merch. It would
okay.
be my entire bedroom.
13.
Whatever. I don't know. Not 13. However old I was when this came out.
But I was 11. I didn't give a shit.
So I was 13.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be all in on this if I were younger.
Yeah. If you were the demographic.
It looks so good.
It really does.
You know what though? I was so locked into Star Wars at that age. It's all I did. It's still all I do.
Yeah.
But
it hasn't changed.
so I just wasn't. I wasn't
I
running
was-
around going ka-chow and like painting 95s on my forehead with red Sharpie. I was smacking my little brother with a lightsaber as hard as I could.
I was watching like McGee and Me and Buttercream Gang, so
Yeah.
this would have blown my mind.
Bible
Wow.
Man.
Bible Man.
VeggieTales on lock. The bunny. A lot of puns in this movie.
So many.
A lot of puns. The first two, I really liked Bob Cutlass and Daryl Cartrip. What came to my mind that made me put my head in my hands and nearly weep is that you are so new of a NASCAR fan, you actually have no frame of reference for Daryl Waltrip's Boogity 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 Let's Go Racing.
I do from my dad watching.
Okay, thank God. 'Cause I'm
and
like,
from that one time that Clint
Boyer.
said it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody was like,
Oh,
why did he
God.
say that?
Now you've reminded me Clint Boyer's in the Fox booth. Oh my God, next year's gonna suck.
Oh, man.
A couple other ones. Chick Hicks, his tires and all the race tires say Lightyear instead of Goodyear. Thought that was fun. There's a couple more.
The blue car.
The Dynaco car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Richard Petty.
That was they even called him the king though in the movie.
Yeah, and he's voiced by
Richard Petty.
right. Junior's in this movie twice. Dale Jr. is. I think Tex, the Dynaco like salesman guy, that's offers Lightning McQueen the sponsorship at the end of the movie.
Yep.
He's Humpy Wheeler, who's been around NASCAR for 1,000 years. He was a promoter. He owned a couple tracks, I think, for a while. I think he managed Charlotte Motor Speedway or something like that. But Humpy
Dang.
Wheeler's a legend, and his name is Humpy Wheeler.
Good name.
Which is awesome. So
a
one of the
name.
things I don't like about this movie is Chick Hicks, and I know he's the villain, but here's why I don't like him. I think what they were going for in Cars is obviously we have Richard Petty as the king. We have Lightning McQueen, who I think is kind of supposed to be a Jeff Gordon analog, and then in the middle we have Chick Hicks, who's supposed to be Dale Earnhardt. I don't like that because Dale Earnhardt was nothing like Chick Hicks.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
Chick Hicks
to
in
have an
his
opinion.
first race that we see causes 2 wrecks, drops below the yellow line to gain a position, and loses to a tongue.
So he's Austin Dillon.
Yeah. That's the thing is like Dale, did he wreck people? Yes, but not like this. And their personalities were different. Chick Hicks wouldn't have, he had I didn't mean to turn him, I just meant to rattle his cage a little bit. He had the nuance. He knew what to say.
Yeah.
And Chick Hicks is just out there like shooting cars in the face to like gain position. I don't like that's the Dale Earnhardt.
He has no respect for the racing.
Yeah,
That
and
Chick Hicks.
it's really loose. Like, really, the only thing they share is a mustache.
The mustache.
I loved the car mustaches in this movie, dude. Especially at the end when they fell off
When
the
they fell off
cars.
the pit
Yeah.
crew, yeah.
I didn't even realize it was
like,
I didn't even realize it was a Dale Earnhardt
Yeah.
comparison there.
I think so. I'm really loose with the Jeff Gordon one. I couldn't kind of make that happen, but it's like, well, you have
Red,
younger than Dale Earnhardt, kind of takes the crown.
cocky.
It's Jeff Gordon. Yeah. So, yep, we mentioned the Miatas flashing with the headlights, which is hilarious. One of the things that I noticed immediately on this watch through, now that I think we've watched more Pixar movies recently, or
We watched The Incredibles recently.
watched The Incredibles. You and I watched Bug's Life last year. I feel like we watched Toy Story, or it was on TV, and I caught a little bit of Toy Story.
It's been a while, but
That was
yeah.
a while, but within the last 5 years. This soundtrack was very, very obviously Randy Newman. Of course, it's Randy Newman. He's a frequent Pixar collaborator. But there's a song, the opening race theme, the theme for the opening race.
Yeah.
Real Gone. That one.
No, it's not vocalized. It's just playing while they're racing, and it reminded me of Bug's Life soundtrack.
Oh.
If you go back and listen to it, it's a
Nice.
little bit of like I think it's the Flick Leaves Home song or something like that. They have a similar. I mean, Randy Newman's got a style,
Yes.
and
very
it's
much.
awesome.
It's great.
what it is.
It feels like nostalgia.
Yeah, it reminds me of. I mean, he did Toy Story, so it reminds me
Yeah.
of childhood.
Yeah.
The Time of Your Life song. You've Got a Friend in Me. I mean, for God's sakes,
I
Randy
think
Newman.
there's a Monsters Inc. song that he did too.
Didn't have, wouldn't have.
I
never
didn't have
yeah.
you.
If I was a rich man
So that's a bop.
with $1 million or two, live in a penthouse.
I have no
Nice
idea
voice
what you guys are talking about.
With a view.
You've never seen Monsters Inc.?
I have, but I don't remember that.
I feel like that was like
Maybe
an,
it's just a bad impersonation.
It's the
No,
like
no.
the end. No, that's spot on impression. It's like he's here. No, it's at the end, right?
Yeah, it's like
Isn't
an
that
end
the closing
it's
credits
like a
song?
End credits thing.
Really good movie. I like Dale Jr. getting interviewed when Lightning McQueen was missing. The Jay Limo show. They had like Leno on. And then Arnold's the dang Hummer. So good. You didn't catch
Didn't he like
the
famously
Hummer
have
on
a
the
Hummer?
Yes, he famously has an H1. There's a couple of them.
I didn't realize it was Arnold.
You had a
The
Hummer
voice.
on screen going,
It's like, we must find him.
yeah, we must find him.
Killing our impressions right now.
And you went, I wonder if that's Bob Costas. Who is that? Was that Conan O'Brien? What, Martin Freeman? Who was that?
It's a car,
Arnold,
dude.
you
I don't know what he. I'm kidding.
He does only have one ear.
It's
Maybe
true.
he couldn't hear it. Maybe Arnold
our
was
Van
panned
Gogh.
all
Maybe-
the way to the right.
Oh, I'm going with that.
You're our
That's
Van
my new go-to excuse.
Van Gogh. Van Gogh, watch the movie again, you dolt. So if you haven't seen Cars, good for you. It's a movie about a race car,
Yep.
and he gets lost on Route 66.
Yep.
And well, first he ties a race for the championship, the Piston Cup
With his-
championship,
with
riff
his
on
tongue.
the Winston Cup, which was retired in the early 2000s because Winston was a tobacco company and NASCAR cut all ties with tobacco sponsorships. So Winston Cup had to go away.
I feel like my parents thought it wasn't. They didn't get the Winston Cup thing. They always thought it was like a piston cup, like piss.
Well, that's the joke.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the joke
did
later
what in the
movie.
Yeah, when it's cup.
No,
so
it's a Winston
I
Cup
always thought it
reference.
was just supposed to be like a adult humor snuck in there.
No,
you
there's
know?
some stuff in there for NASCAR fans for sure. What I like about it though is that it's not overtly, if you knew nothing about NASCAR, you can watch this movie just fine. If you know
Yeah.
things about NASCAR, it's the little things, the Dale Jr. cameos, the Darrell
Yeah.
Waltrip in the booth, Richard
Or
Petty
even-
being called the King even in the movie.
Yeah.
The car that the King drives being the old cars that Petty used to drive. The fabulous Hudson Hornet, which I'll talk about in a minute. A lot of history around that. So there's a lot of real NASCAR tie-ins, more than I remembered as I was doing a little bit of research last night for this. So, but it stands on its own as a cut. Like David loves this movie more than anything in the world, I think, and he doesn't give a frick about NASCAR at all. He just doesn't care, like a lot of people, because it do be just cars going left, just cars going left in a circle,
But really fast,
really fast,
really close.
100 and some miles an hour is pretty quick. 186, I think, at Daytona. Anyway, he's in a three-way tie for the Piston Cup Championship with the King, who's supposed to be Richard Petty, and Chick Hicks. Lightning McQueen has fired his crew chief, doesn't stop for tires. Both of his rear tires blow. He hobbles across the finish line, sticks his tongue out, and it's a three-way draw. So they have to do a runoff race, and it's going to be in like a week or whatever. And Lightning McQueen falls out of his hauler on
Somehow.
because he's selfish and makes his car drive him through the night.
Yeah, he makes Mac drive him through
Rude.
the night, and then he falls out in Arizona. And he wakes up, chases down the semi trucks, chases the wrong one, realizes that, yells, "I've got to go back to the interstate," and fires down Route 66, which is parallel to the interstate. So he ends up in this small town called Radiator Springs, and shenanigans happen, and that's the bulk of the movie. So
Some things happen.
yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happens in Radiator Springs, but he goes to jail for speeding,
He rips up their road.
rips up their
Rips
road.
it all up.
It's rude.
But thank God he possesses the knowledge to repave it.
Well, they
It's
just
just
have
a
the
thing he knew how to do.
Well, they have the paver thing. You just tow it.
Yeah,
He does it
just
wrong
pull
the
it.
first time.
Which,
so he
why
does
was
it.
that thing not sentient?
That's the thing.
That is a good question.
This
I
movie
don't know.
picks some weird, draw some weird lines in the ground where you're like, okay, there's restrooms in this universe.
Why
Who's
did they
building
even-
these structures?
Why
Why
do
are the
they even
roads?
need
Why
to
is the
exist?
whole world not road?
There's-
Pave it all.
Unfortunately,
Like-
because Jalopnik...
Why is there a forest?
Well, that's... What? Unfortunately,
Why is there
the
forests?
images are all broken on the article, but Jason Torchinsky, now of the Autopian, had a whole series about were there people trapped in cars, kind of like Warhammer style. Why aren't the eyes their headlights?
Yeah, what did the interior
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like?
Why aren't the eyes headlights? Why are
Because
they the
Disney
windshields?
thought the windshields would be more expressive.
Of course. But it's like
Those
if you look
eyes,
at a
though,
car, if
there's
you look at a
something
car,
weird about them.
you go
The headlights are the eyes.
the eyes.
But in the Cars universe, the headlights are the boobs.
But that's
True.
interesting. They are when they're pop-ups, but it's not
Yeah.
like Sally just has her knockers out the whole time.
I mean, who's to
Is that a
say?
tramp stamp? Yeah.
She has a tramp stamp,
Who's
which
to
is
say?
crazy. Her last name is Carrera, which is funny because it's like the model of Porsche 911. It's Carrera. I really liked that. So there's a couple cool like little things for car people. Like, what's the Fiat 500's name?
Luigi.
Luigi.
Right?
He's obsessed with Ferrari.
Yep.
Why? One, he's Italian. Two, at the time, Ferrari was owned by Fiat, and he's a Fiat 500. So little things like that I liked. Had a little Fast and the Furious nod with the dudes that mess with Mac,
Yeah.
with the neon and
What was
stuff.
it? Snot Rocket.
Yeah, Snot Rocket, the one muscle car amidst the JDMs, and he's sneezing all the time, which is funny. Car Jail is an impound lot, which is humorous. And then we have Car Court, which is wild.
Which is just a big empty room because cars.
Yeah, they have a judiciary system where they appoint lawyers still. If you do not have a lawyer, the court will appoint one for you. It's just crazy. Mater's a lawyer. Mater's great. This movie
Larry
kind
the
of
Cable Guy.
it launched Larry the Cable Guy to new heights. He has a clip, an interview he did recently where he it literally is in tears because of what Cars did for him in his career and how good Pixar's been to him. So good for Larry the Cable Guy. I find it funny that to do Mater, he's kind of doing a riff on his voice that's also fake. So he's doing a voice of a voice.
Well, apparently
It's
Mater's
like a hat on a hat.
Mater's like modeled after a real person who's actually nicknamed Mater. It was like
Oh, interesting.
when they were making the movie, they were interviewing some people somewhere. I did not research it that in depth, but there's a real life Mater out there who I guess,
And it's not Larry the Cable Guy. That's
and
hilarious.
it's not, but he sounds just like that.
And they said,
So I wonder if
instead
that's
of this
why.
guy,
Yeah,
let's get Larry the Cable Guy.
I wonder if that's why they went with him.
Doc Hudson. He's kind of the old man. Paul Newman up here.
Paul Newman,
Well, that's not Paul Newman.
That's not Paul
uh,
Newman.
What's his face? Help.
Robert Redford.
the other guy.
Robert Redford.
I don't know why I struggled
Paul
with that.
Newman was Butch Cassidy.
I just call him
of
Sundance
Butch
Kid.
Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Sundance Kid's behind Daniel's head.
As our
This was Paul
king.
Newman's final role in anything.
Aw.
Wow,
Yeah. The last thing he did was be Doc in Cars.
really went out on the top, huh?
Something. Went
I
out.
think wasn't it like one of his highest grossing movies or his
Yes.
highest grossing movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Cars.
What a guy.
Cars. Owen Wilson's Lightning McQueen and Sally,
Which
is the Black Widow from A Bug's Life. And the
Oh my
70s.
gosh. Diane.
Jesse from
No.
Toy Story? Or
Is
no?
it Diane Keaton?
Is it Jessie from Toy Story too?
No. Oh my God. What's her name?
I thought she
I'm
was in Toy
looking it up.
Story.
It's not Diane Keaton. I don't know why.
Great
I,
podcast.
I have no knowledge
Sally's
really-
Cars
to help with this conversation.
She's so Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie Hunt.
Funny
God.
Hunt.
Yeah, the thing with Pixar is they have their core group. Like Mac has been, he was,
He's in everything.
Yeah.
isn't he?
He's the pig.
he's the
He
pig in
was
Toy
the
Story.
circus flea.
He's the circus flea.
The abominable snowman, a monster.
Yes, that's the one I was looking for. He's the abominable snowman. Monster.
Welcome
That
to
end credit scene with him
Himalayas.
was great.
I did get a kick out of all those little like Pixar skinned movies at the end. That was nice.
I
Yeah.
shut the movie off.
Oh.
I'm sure I've
Yeah,
seen
because
it.
it's
Circus
him.
cars.
It's him sitting in the
So
theater
stupid.
watching all these other Pixar movies, and
nice.
that voice actor's great.
Yeah.
And then at
You
the end, he's
are a
like, "Wait a
toy
minute, they're
car."
using the same guy for all these. They're freaking cheap." But
Yeah.
it's him.
What kind
But
of
it's
cut rate
him.
production is this?
Yeah.
He's also, I believe, the mailman in Cheers.
Oh.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's what I know him from.
that's what you know from his Cheers. He's the
That's
mailman in
funny.
Cheers. I forget his name, but he's the
Yeah.
mailman from Cheers.
Norm?
Nope.
No. Close.
He's boys with Norm.
I picked a name out of that show.
Cheers
and guessed.
bucket.
No, so the mailman from Cheers is a mailman, and Norm's bit is that he walks in and everybody says Norm. Two different.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. I tried.
You were close. You did mention someone who was also in Cheers.
You were in the ballpark at least.
I had a really hard time not picturing Owen Wilson the entire movie.
Yeah.
That didn't happen with any of the other characters, just him.
Yeah.
I just pictured his goofy face behind a mic in a booth saying all these lines.
Yeah,
the
I was
entire time.
I was too young when I first saw this because I was 11 when it came out to know
Yeah.
Owen Wilson for Owen Wilson. So
Yeah.
it was Cars first, and then
Cars guy.
it was reframed for me later. But so I didn't have that problem. But that's interesting. So you have had a struggle before with quote unquote kids movies on this show, not so?
So first of all, I really had no idea what happened in this movie or what it was even about.
What happened?
Like obviously I know it's a race car and I know he got lost, but that was
Cars in it.
that was it.
Ciao.
Ka-chow. I knew ka-chow.
That's two things you knew.
So I
Owen Wilson.
oh my god.
Wow.
Wow. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't expect the like heartwarming. It was like a kid's Hallmark movie. Like
I mean,
the guy, the rich guy shows up to the small little town and turns everything around.
God, yeah. The city boy meets the small town girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
The small town girl who's moved from the big city
From the
to
big
take it
city.
slow.
Oh,
loves
that's
the
true.
Yeah.
It's a Hallmark
It's a
movie.
Hallmark
You know, all it's missing is like snow and Christmas
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're in the desert, so you know.
and sweaters.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get a
If
sweater.
Sally
on a
was
car.
green, there would be no escaping these accusations.
No, they
Hallmark.
couldn't.
They're
They
always red
couldn't
and green.
deny it.
You've come a
They-
long way with
yeah.
your summers.
She owns a hotel.
She owns a hotel.
Oh my god, the local innkeeper. Oh my
All right,
gosh.
my
we
God.
found the inspiration.
And the episode title. Cars is a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark kids movie. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Crazy.
That's reframed my thinking of cars.
Are you back in on cars
He
now?
fixes the town.
I'm just, no, it's not that I'm out on cars. I like cars. I'm sick of cars. I'm sick of it. I've just
fair.
seen it too many times. I've
Yeah.
seen it like, this is gonna.
Why have
seem-
we seen it so much?
I don't know, but I feel like I've seen it like 10 times. You know why for me?
Why?
Volunteering at church camp.
Church camp.
We would put Cars on, go movie night, everybody shut up, and Cars all the time. Freaking Cars, Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt is good.
Which,
one.
if I had to pick between the two, Prince
Is it
of
Prince of
Egypt.
Egypt?
Prince of Egypt is a masterpiece.
Prince of Egypt ripped.
Masterpiece.
Dang. What about the Joseph movie?
I liked the Joseph one too.
It's not as.
It's not as
Have I
good.
seen that? I haven't seen it.
What?
I haven't seen it. I don't
It's
think.
good.
Yeah, but it's not Prince of Egypt.
I mean, no, it's a different Bible
I
story.
always like the wine in Prince of Egypt. The way they just animated it when it's like
That was grape
sloshing
juice.
around
That was
and
grape
stuff.
juice.
There's a
Anyways,
lot of wine in the Joseph one because
And when they do the snake thing and their hands are like
Oh,
that in
yeah.
the shadows,
raw.
they do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
My God.
Prince of Egypt is dope. That's a good movie.
Oh gosh.
Why is it in a world where everyone is a car, is there a law against running fast, essentially?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well,
And how does McQueen know what a gun is? He's like, he's shooting at me. Who's making guns in this world?
The
Are there
gun-
cars with guns?
Well,
Like,
tanks, I would assume. We have Arnold as a Jeep. He's a military vehicle. We know that the
yeah.
planes are sentient as well. The thing for the
so do
speed
some
thing,
cars, like some of the cars in one country, go to war against cars in another country?
Almost
Like,
certainly,
is
almost
everything the same?
everyone in the Middle East
just
is
like
Toyota
Such a weird
Tacomas.
world building. Yeah.
We'll bounce off of that, I guess. We're not going to acknowledge
We're
that.
gonna
Okay.
moving on.
Yikes. But also Rolls Royces because of the UAE.
But Carl's asking the important question.
So no. The speed thing. Here's why. Because we cannot run fast enough to kill ourselves.
Oh,
We might could. If
But
we
like
ran
it
into
would
a
be
wall.
so rare.
If
like
we
with speed.
could, we would.
You're right.
Yeah.
You'd be more like 12 dead running into walls again at top speed. And then you just don't see that.
It's a pile up, yeah.
Yeah. Just a bunch of like
man.
corpses on the ground, all with like, big
Mangled legs
slats
and-
on brick walls.
Oh god.
It's like it would be the human equivalent of like when birds hit skyscrapers. Then running would be illegal. But for cars, it's like, yeah, we can't run 200 miles an hour. Sally can.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's also like a civilized society has rules. You know,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
getting on and off the road. You got to be able to, drive and pass and all those things
Right.
safely.
True.
I did
true.
like how after the
Even
Why
more
not make
so
the
here.
roads wider? Still 2 lanes? Make them like 8 lanes wide.
well, Route
There's a lot of
66
cars here. It's crazy.
I liked how after the first race, Lightning McQueen, they take his slicks off like right before he fires his crew, and they put on like road tires, and then he's got road tires for the rest of the movie, and I'm like, oh, nice.
Why did he not run the white wall tires? Is what I want to know.
Probably regulatory. If we know anything about motorsport, it's regulatory.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're embarrassing.
Can't just pull up to a shop and be like, I'm going to race with that. That's a good point.
I think white walls are kind of hard to make, and I don't think they last as long. I think there's a reason we don't see them a lot.
Because all tires used to be like that, right? That's why the Michelin Man is white.
I think
Weren't they
so.
all-
I think the
Okay.
I think the rubber compound was white, and I think I don't know though. Michelin star though.
It's a great color choice for
Dog
something
just sneezed
for
on
the
me.
road.
Yeah, white.
white
Roads
tire.
are never dirty.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
I want to put white walls in the Miata.
That'll be real easy to keep clean.
Be fun. Okay, can we talk about Doc's piston cups?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a little tear here. So later on in the movie,
He's going on a tear.
Lightning McQueen goes into Doc's garage.
Yeah.
House? Yeah, what is
House?
I
Garage.
think their houses are all garages.
His
'cause
garage.
They don't have a house.
He goes into the garage, which he's not supposed to do. What, can't you read? And he should have been like, no, I'm a car. So he trespasses into he breaks and enters into Doc's house and sees that he's got 3 piston cups. And he's the fabulous Hudson Hornet, which obviously. But here's the deal. I looked up to see if they had historic parallels. Because the piston cups he has are from 1951, 1952, and 1953. Now, Doc Hudson is loosely based on real NASCAR driver Herb Thomas. Herb Thomas won at the time what was called the NASCAR Grand National Series. He was the champion in 1951 and 1953, both times in the number 92 Fabulous Hudson Hornet. And in 1952, so the in-between year from when Herb Thomas won, he won in 51, 53. In 52, Tim Flock was the Grand National Series champion in his number 91 Fabulous Hudson Hornet. So we did have 3 years in a row where a Fabulous Hudson Hornet won the...
It's a different guy.
Just 2 different guys. But won the Grand National Championship, which would be called the Winston Cup, which there you go, the Piston Cup. So that's cool. There is no in the movie Doc, his number is 51. There was no Fabulous Hudson Hornet numbered. He picked up smoking in West Virginia.
Sorry.
There's no Fabulous Hudson Hornet numbered 51. That was a nod to the first model year for the Fabulous Hudson Hornet.
Nice.
Also, we have later on Doc's crash. We go back in there, and he's like, "You're trespassing again." Blah blah. We're skipping a little bit. We'll go back. A crash that retired him in 1954. That is also a reference to Herb Thomas, but it didn't happen in 54. And not in a Hudson Hornet. Herb Thomas did have a career near fatal wreck that nearly retired him in 1956. He wasn't in a Hudson Hornet at the time. He was driving Chevys and Buicks because Hudson Hornets had become obsolete by 56. The wreck and the track that it took place in, the real life wreck, are featured in season 2, episode 7 of Dale Jr.'s Lost Speedways on Peacock. If you'd like to learn some, that is there. So that's kind of about the. And when you went to the this year, was it this year? For the 500, you went to the museum at Daytona International
It was
Speedway.
just a month ago.
Okay, so you went in August
Yeah.
for the fall race. They have, I don't remember which number, they have a Fabulous Hudson Hornet, one of the like actual race
I
cars.
saw it with my eyes, and
And right next to it, what do they have? A scale model of Doc. So they're right next to each other,
nice.
which is super cool.
Yeah, I would have never cared to see that, but you pointed it out to me, so
Yes, and that's when I think that's kind of how cars ended up on this list.
yeah, a little bit.
So Herb Thomas's and Tim Flock's, I think they're both in museums, but neither of those are the one at Daytona International Speedway. So kind of cool.
bummer.
When I was looking at this stuff, a dude made me feel really interesting because he said that he watched the movie Cars and started doing similar research to what I did, and he said, "Oh, the movie Cars is awesome. It really inspired me to get into ancient NASCAR history." And I'm like, ancient. It's
Was that like the 60s?
50s, but
50s?
like NASCAR was post-war, so late 40s.
Ancient's kind of
Ancient's just a
little
heavy adjective for the 50s.
Ancient aliens, okay, but like
Yeah.
You say ancient, I think mummies,
Yeah,
not NASCAR.
I think prehistoric.
Yeah.
I think horses. Like that's like not cars.
Should have watched Spirit.
Yeah.
Nope.
Spirit. Oh my God.
Isn't that Damon?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Whew. Megan Kuhn won't murder me. Her last name's not Kuhn anymore. Also cracked me up that the cop has curb feelers on his car.
As what?
What you know about curb feelers?
Apparently nothing.
I know about curb feelers. So if
Of
you
course
watch
you
the
do.
movie again, the sheriff has these little metal sticks that are going out from his like runner panels, and those were a thing decades ago in like the 60s and 50s. They
to
would
keep
just
you off
have
the curb?
pieces of metal so that you would hear them scrape and you wouldn't scrape your car on the curb when you were parking. And the
Nice.
cop has curb feelers.
Oh wow.
Cracked me up.
I need those.
Yeah, you do. You would ignore the scrape though and be like, "What's this larger scrape?" And it's just your door comes on. Have you ever hit a curb, or do you normally just hit other cars?
Normally other cars. I've hit a few curbs in my life. Scraped a few wheels.
I have one more thing. So when Sally and Lightning go for the Joy Drive, right? She fills him up with gas, and I almost wrote a gripe down, even though I'm going to now say it into a microphone about how race cars can't run on normal fuel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do we know it's not special fuel?
Because I think they put the octane on the pump in the movie, and I think it's 86.
Oh. Never
But I
mind.
could be
was
wrong.
about to be like, maybe the gasoline rules are different in the cars world, but
That's true.
if the octane is on
If we're
there,
accepting, yeah,
Well, we know later
talking cars.
He's got a human tongue. Yeah, I think
when he also switches to George Carlin's hippie juice later in the movie. This stuff's the best, man.
So-
They're out to get you. Which also, the Jeep is
man.
The Jeep is actually George Carlin,
Yeah.
the late comedian George Carlin.
here's my question. So is the hippie stuff, is that food or is it gas? Or is gas food?
Is it the same thing?
Is it the same thing?
Because they drink water too.
Why does he
right?
drink it with his mouth and not put it into his gas tank?
Well,
if
and there's a
it's gas?
part where there's a part in the first race at the beginning
my
where they
question.
show pit road, and there's a car that takes a sip from a gas tank with his mouth. But
Are
do
they the same?
do they also like, are there two doors in this situation? You know, does it go both like? I don't understand. Do they still have a fuel filler cap?
Huh.
And can you eat with your that?
You can refuel with your
This
mouth.
is only.
world.
Or
yeah,
your-
these
It
are all
just
good
feels like
questions.
a Rick and Morty alternate universe where like everyone sits on a person and the chairs are people. It's like it doesn't
Yeah,
work
interdimensional cable.
outside of conceptually. Yeah, it's just like it's like a bedtime story logic. Like you're supposed to be falling asleep while it happens. Like it doesn't make sense if you
I
look
kind
at
of
it.
I kind of like it though, because like the kids don't care, but the parents can sit there and go, wait, and you have something to think about. Because it's not like it's not like they did something wrong, but it makes you ponder, and that's funny to me.
So
But
many
it makes me
logistics.
ponder more than any other Pixar movie. Like I don't look at A Bug's Life or Toy Story with this like scrutiny. But I guess it's also not like a find and replace. Like Toy Story still there's people, same with Bug's Life. It's still a real world, but there's like
the ants don't
another
have
level that we're
mandibles.
seeing. Yeah, but it's still like
They're not pinchy.
Yeah. But something about this feels weirder because it's just all cars and it's like I think Harry Potter does the same thing. It's like a methodology for like world building where it's like everything's the same but magic. Or
Yeah.
everything's the same but we're all cars now. It's like
Right.
it doesn't work really well.
Can you imagine
I don't
if
know.
you're in your backyard, like letting the dogs out, and a bird made of leaves swooped down full of ants?
No. I don't know what I would do. I think I would just assume some kids made it. And it just got,
And there were ants.
Thrown.
Yeah, just ants in it. And he'd be like,
yeah, just like full of ants. I'd probably, I'd probably freak out. I'd just be like, ah.
well, little baby ants, though, 'cause they were
Yeah,
small.
but I don't like any ants.
Do you remember what their troop was called? I don't remember.
the blueberries?
Thank you.
Yep. I think. I think
Watch a
they were
Bug's Life, man.
blueberries.
It's
Yeah, I
good.
need to.
It's good. I was going on a thing. Oh, so when they go for their drive, right? Sally and Lightning, they go for their drive. She fills them up with gas. The sheriff's like, meep, mop, mop, I have curb feelers. And she's like, do you trust me? And they bone out. And they go riding along in the canyons. And she has her
the sappy
wistful
music.
look over. And they reminisce is the word I'm looking for. She reminisces, rather, about a time that she didn't even know because she came to Radiator Springs past its heyday. But the reminiscence goes about the pre-interstate Route 66, like when it was popping. It was like a massive road. It connects some things. I don't remember. But
California. Wait, no, what is it? Something to LA. To LA.
it's something Midwesty.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago to LA.
Chicago to LA.
Sure.
I'm like hearing the song in my head. Chicago.
So there is a documentary. If you had your interest piqued by Route 66 in this, there's a Vice documentary you should watch on YouTube. It's like 44 minutes, and it's called "Why Did America Abandon Route 66?" It came out last year. I watched it, and I was bolted to my chair while watching. It was very, very well done, as a lot of Vice documentaries are, and it explores kind of similar themes. They go drive down Route 66, which again runs parallel to the interstate, which is why nobody goes on it anymore, and they go talk to like the odd bar that's still there. And stuff like that, and it's super, super interesting. I highly recommend that. So go watch that. Watch less speedways. Dirt tracks. Turn left to go right. Turn right to go
Still
left.
don't fully know what he was going for there.
It's a 4-wheel drift.
What he was going for.
Right, but turn right. He because in the end he does it. Doc does it,
Yeah.
and he just kind of goes off, but then somehow ramps back. Like I didn't understand.
You don't understand the concept of counter steering to get the ass end out and drift around a corner?
Yeah,
'Cause
but
that's
he
all it
didn't
is.
do that. He turned right and then like flew off the edge of something.
Yeah,
and then came back.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird.
It works in real life. So it's a thing that you can really only do controlled if you have rear wheel drive. You can't really do it in front wheel drive because you're doing the drive and the steering.
Right.
In the front wheels, so you can't really get the ass end out unless you're having an actual problem. So it's a thing, and it was more prevalent. I looked it up because Doc rips it up on the dirt course. I wrote racers with dirt track origins do quite well. Cigarettes, you got to give them up.
Sorry.
Kyle Larson, for example, started out on dirt, kills it in the Cup Series, just led the most laps ever of any Hendrick Motorsports car in history at Bristol last week.
Wow.
Was that boring to watch?
In the 1950s, when Fabulous Hudson Hornets were racing, I kind of gave up when I clicked on like the first 6 or so tracks on the schedule in 1952, I think I was looking at. So many dirt tracks. So that's true. Doc
cool.
would have that skill because there were not a lot of paved tracks in America because racing, it's what the GIs did when they came home because they were so used to adrenaline rushes that they just started, what can I do? They were racing their cars. And what did they have? Dirt tracks. So that's what they ran. I don't think Daytona International Speedway was founded until the 60s. So they were still, like that year, the first race that year was the Daytona Beach Road Course. They were still running on the beach for half and then coming down the road. So that also has grounding. So it's not like a mirror accurate of
But there's a lot
NASCAR.
of
But there's
attention
a
to detail
lot,
here.
you can tell that
Yeah.
they talked to NASCAR historians when they were doing this movie, which I appreciate about Pixar.
Yeah, for sure.
Pixar doesn't really half-ass it. They whole-ass it.
No.
Thanks, Pixar.
Thanks, Pixar.
That was really it. The hippie VW bus, voiced by George Carlin. I liked how the network that covers the races in the movie is the RSN, Racing Sports Network, which is a parallel to the real-life MRN, Motor Racing Network.
Nice.
They are what you hear at the tracks. All those announcers and stuff. It's essentially the radio feed. And the Ferrari at the very end of the movie, and then we can kind of go off the rails. The Ferrari that visits Luigi.
Yeah.
At the Michael Schumacher, who was the one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time that drove for Ferrari. So I kind of lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, it's Michael Schumacher. So he's a legend. But yeah, cars, man. All right.
Yep.
What'd you think about it?
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say because it's a kid's movie about cars, very simple story, but I really enjoyed it.
Deep.
Yeah, it's not deep at all.
But that's good.
That is good. Not everything has to be deep. Not everything has to have the big story. It was just a fun watch. Really fun to look at. I thought it's aged
Animation's
really well.
Crazy good. Like if you
For
go back
almost
and
20
watch
years.
Toy Story, Like, for example, the dog in Sid's dog looks horrible. But Cars,
fuel.
that's what, 10 years later? And it looks insane. And I've heard that Cars 3 in particular is amazing to look at.
That's the only thing good I've heard about that movie.
I've heard skip 2 and do 3.
I've heard Skip 2 and do 3 as well.
Okay. So maybe it's just the second one.
I read a thing that said it took like 17 hours to render every frame of Cars.
Oh my God.
Every frame.
Every frame.
17 hours.
Holy cow. Do you just like hit render and then leave for a
Walk
year?
away.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Go on vacation?
what do you do?
Got a computer for each frame ready to go.
Lightning McQueen's number 95 is a reference to Toy Story, the year it came out.
1995.
I never know that.
Yep.
Feels like an
All
obvious
the-
reference now that you
All
say
the
it.
license plates were references to something.
So many things.
Mater's license plate was like the famous room number that
That's
they
the
all.
room number. Yep.
Yeah.
At the
So is-
college, they learned to animate at or what have you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Same thing happened in The Incredibles. That's in everything. I didn't actually like everything that I wrote down. Humble brag was just stuff I had noticed. I didn't actually look up because I didn't have the time, or take
All
the
of
time, I
the-
guess,
yeah.
to look up all the Easter eggs. And also with Pixar, that'd have been the whole show. So that's just
Yeah.
what I noticed on my watch through. I've seen this movie probably half a dozen times.
Yeah, a lot of references to other movies. I was watching one video that was like, here's 100 whatever Easter eggs. He said there was an Easter egg to Inside Out, but did that movie not come out after
That-
this?
No, it didn't.
No.
Yeah, Inside Out was years and
Years
years
after.
and years
10
and years
years?
away.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, okay, so I'm not
They may
crazy.
have had the ideas for it, and then this was just
Possibly.
like
They
the
tend to
concept or
hint-
something. Who knows?
Or is somebody just like shoehorning a reference in? Like,
Maybe.
oh, this just
They
happens
knew
to
20
line up.
years in
was that
advance.
like a confidential? What's that bias that it is? Like confirmation,
confirmation bias.
Is that what that is?
That's it. Yep.
Yes. All right, cool.
No, it's because normally they hint at their next thing.
Yeah. Not 15
Not
years
15
down the road.
years
Yeah.
or 10 years down the line. So I don't know about that. I don't know what came out right after Cars or what to even look for.
Yeah, I don't know. Finding Nemo was
Before Cars was
before this,
Incredibles, right?
Yes, Incredibles was before Cars. I think Finding Nemo was before
Incredibles
Cars.
was 2004, right?
Yes,
Wasn't Finding Nemo earlier than that?
I think Finding Nemo was like 2002.
Two. So that would be 246. That would be the 2-year bump. So it would have been Incredibles,
So
which
what came
means
out after this?
Maybe
there
Up?
had to have been a Cars reference in Incredibles, though.
Bugs Life 2 might have been after this.
Bugs Life 2 doesn't
Bugs Life.
exist.
What?
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right. Yeah, I really shouldn't have watched that video. Guy had no idea what he was talking about, and I took it all as factual.
Wall-E, maybe.
Wall-E.
Wall-E, that's a good one. I've seen that one.
I do not like Wall-E.
Yeah, it sucks.
Makes me depressed.
Oh. Doc Hudson's in The Incredibles. He's in in the fight with the last fight with the Omni droid. There's a fabulous Hudson Hornet on the side of the street. I can't
nice.
show Carl, but so that I guess that's the reference. It's again loose. Because there are other ones like I think Lotso the bear is in whatever movie came out before Toy Story 3.
I don't know.
Is the bear's name even Lotso? I don't even know.
I think
Think
yeah, no,
so?
it's Lotso. That's correct.
I watched that movie once in theaters, and how old were we when that movie came out?
We were pretty
16,
old.
17?
Yeah, we were in high school because I remember the joke was like everybody was like they die a fiery death,
It is like
and then there's like a moment in the movie where you're like, wait.
when Andy
Wait.
gave the toys away, it was like someone held my childhood down by the throat and then shot it 3 times in the forehead.
I thought it was a nice ending.
But it was nice. But it was like,
because the toys get a new life
do we have to,
be
give
played
them
with.
away? But I get, yeah, no, that's fine. But the thing is what I took from that other people haven't taken from that is I will not watch any of the other sequels
Well, we've only heard bad things about them.
because they're not for us though.
That's true.
So I haven't seen them. I saw Toy Story 3 and said that will be the last Toy Story movie I watch. And when I go to watch Toy Story,
remember.
I've watched Toy Story 1 and 2 multiple times since. I will not watch 3
What's
again.
the one with the fiery
3.
scene at the end? That's only 3?
It's 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're
I
only
think
on
that-
4, right?
We're only on 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
With
then
the
yeah.
sport.
Only on 4.
Forky.
I feel like we're on like 15. I don't know. I feel like there's
Nick thinks
one
there's
every
Bugs
other
Life
year.
2.
Well, there was the Lightyear
I'm
2
a huge
and-
Pixar fan
yeah.
over
There was
here.
the Lightyear movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
maybe.
guess who? Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
We gotta like put Chris Pratt, chain him to
I
a
think
boulder
that
on
one's
an island or something.
I think that one's Chris Evans.
Is it Chris Evans?
I think it's Chris.
Can we stop?
Oh,
But-
yeah, I
There's
think
so
it
many
was.
Chris's.
But your comment still stands.
Yes.
It's a point I made a couple episodes ago where, hey, can we let voice actors like do voice work,
Yeah.
please? Please?
Yes, Chris Evans in that one.
Well,
But still,
he can also.
He also has enough.
You know what I don't like?
Enough.
Really, any of the Chris's. I'm cold on the Chris's.
They burned really bright, but
Pratt,
now
Hines, and
they're
Evans.
too much.
I'm sick of them.
Pine.
Yeah. Chris Pine has been the
Oh, and
most
Hemsworth.
low-key.
Hemsworth, yeah. Pine I wouldn't even include, which is
No.
harsh. But
He didn't have the same.
I think the only Pine
Trajectory.
movie I've seen is Star Trek.
You saw D&D.
D&D, yeah.
Oh, that movie
Well, they didn't
sucks
like it.
ass. That's a bad
wasn't gonna
movie.
bring it
I'm
up.
sorry.
It was fun.
Cameron doesn't like fun movies. Du-du-du-du-du. Yes, I do. That movie's bad. I think other people wanted to like that movie too much because it said Dungeons and Dragons in it. And what it is a movie for simpletons.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wah,
That
wah.
movie has not one original thing in it. Not one.
The ending twist still got me though.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
the simpleton. I'll say it. You don't have to.
I didn't say it. But
It was fine.
in a drawer full of knives, we have one spoon. All right.
Wow. See, too far.
Hey, but you use spoons more often than you use knives? I don't know. I can't save that. Anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna ask. So we're kind of, I don't know, grasping for things to say. So my question for the group is, should I ask it now?
Reach for spoons more than you reach for knives. What an idiot. I'm just going to go stand outside and let the
I don't
hurricane
know.
take me. We have a hurricane coming like
Helene.
now. Helene.
I don't know.
Sung to the tune of Jolene by Dolly Parton.
Helene. Helene. That was very good. That was
Begging
bad.
you, please don't
We'll
take
edit
my
it in
house.
post.
Please don't take my house.
All right. Your question.
question.
Please save us from this horrible show.
Which car do you think you are?
Oh.
Personality. Me, I had to think.
Doc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
You've got the mustache.
And I'm just grumpy and old.
Yes, a curmudgeon.
I'm a little curmudgeon-y. But I
You
can
are.
get with it. He gets with it at the end.
Yes.
I can come around.
You can come around. You're there for the people you love.
Yeah.
It's a small group,
I'm
but
defensive of my group. I
Yeah.
don't like outsiders. Yeah,
No.
I'm Doc. I think that's the only real option for me.
it's a good choice for you.
All right, what are you?
I don't know. I feel like I don't have
There's
a really.
only like 2 women in the movie.
Well, this isn't gender. We're gender fluid in this question.
Okay. We're progressive.
We're
It's
progressive.
2024.
Because I don't really feel like I'm a Sally,
No.
really. So I
Who
don't.
the hell are
I don't have a good parallel, but what I'm gonna go with is the fire truck. Because
Why?
he cries. He's emotional.
Oh, all right.
He gets sad when the people like hurt, like take his stuff, and he's just like when people try to talk to him, he's like shy. I've gotten less shy as I've gotten older, but like back in the day, that was me.
All right.
That's a good one.
I like it. What?
I don't.
Carl, what are you?
Is Carl
That's
the
a tough
hippie?
one to follow. I was gonna say I'm like that the widow car, the old lady that talks.
Yeah,
to
with the
herself.
radio
That's
that's like
crazy.
deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Who is Nick?
Yeah, I'm struggling.
You're not Mater because you're not country enough or
Right.
stupid enough.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Who are you?
I'm not lightning.
No, you're not the king.
You might be the Sarge car because he's got all the surplus and the tech and the gadgets, and you're a real tech guy.
but he's like
Am I
Army,
the?
though.
Am I the bus? Am I the like hauler?
Both of them mixed.
Are you Mac?
I fall asleep getting wrecks.
You're Mac.
Yeah.
Things happen and I
Okay.
don't notice.
You know what?
He's also really tall, and you're really tall,
Yeah.
so
I'm gonna add a second option for me.
Yeah.
The minivan that just doesn't want to be there. I like that. Just anxious, surrounded by crazy people and wanting to get
I
out.
wanted to get out.
I like that. It's me at parties.
I like Mac for Nick.
Mac
That-
for Nick
that
is
feels
good.
right.
So,
That's
Mac,
good.
crazy Model T, Doc, the fire truck.
I don't even think the fire truck has a name. If
So
he does, I don't know.
only 3 of us are residents of Radiator Springs.
It's true.
Nick's
Bye.
off in the big world.
I make
He's
it
off
there,
in
though.
West Virginia doing something.
Yeah.
No electric cars in
Trucking.
cars. Did you? Were you angry about the lack of representation?
Yeah,
Not very inclusive. Yeah.
I was forgiving those 2006.
Oh,
Cars
why
4
did
though,
Doc...
they better have.
Cars 4. Oh,
Do
God.
what?
Now they have airplanes too. There's like a whole
Wasn't there a
franchise
planes
brewing
like
from
direct
this.
to DVD movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Why did Doc call the reporters? Wasn't Lightning McQueen on his way out? Like,
I don't think so. I think he was too close,
Okay.
too buddied up to Sally, and Doc was like, "Get this racer
wouldn't
out of
go.
here."
He
'Cause that's,
changed
okay,
his
because it
paint.
seemed like he was okay.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is some of
I
the
thought that was just a nice, like, all right, I helped you guys out, now I'm on my way, kind of thing, just to like do one last nice thing. I didn't think he was gonna stay.
yeah, I don't
So,
know, but Doc
Maybe
definitely
I misread that.
definitely ousted him. I think Doc hated that he got in. Like he had so much resentment towards racing that he was projecting that, and the rest of the town accepting him was like, I got to get rid of this guy because maybe he reminded him too much of his past or something. I don't know, but one of the like critiques that I saw from this movie from a parent, I got this on Threads the other day, and this parent, in fairness, was getting killed because all their quibbles about cars were like shit that was explained later, like just shut up and watch the movie kind of deal. But like Lightning McQueen is really slow development. Like he's a dick for so much of the movie, and he takes quite a while to come
He's
around.
pretty
Like the
rude.
first hour.
But
Yeah.
the thing that makes that okay in my mind is so is Doc. They're both dicks for a long time, but in different directions, and they don't meet really in the middle. They both meet together at the end of their respective journeys, which I think is interesting. It takes them both the full length of the film really to come around, and it takes Lightning McQueen leaving and Doc seeing how sad Sally is about it when she finds out that he called the reporters to be like, I'm being a dick. Which is cool.
And then he becomes his crew
And then he
chief.
becomes the crew chief, and I really like that turnaround.
awesome.
So, yeah,
His giant headset around his
so
car.
funny, so funny.
I feel like I remember as a kid being really happy with the payoff of like he shows up, he's his crew chief,
Does and then
but Lightning McQueen doesn't
he
win.
doesn't win.
He
But he
stops.
wins. It's like Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
He won.
It's
He
really
won.
cool because he doesn't win. He gets offered the Dynaco sponsorship anyway, and then doesn't take it.
That part I'm like,
yeah.
That's another 1-2 punch.
That
It was
would've been the
exactly like
payoff.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Well,
he loses
no.
and then dies. Like it's like, come on, don't do this to me again.
He loses.
But
and
what did
dies.
Lightning learn? That it's not the flash that is fulfilling. It's the family and the relationships. And these guys gave me my start. Wow. So he stayed with Rusty's, getting the rust off your butt like Lightning McQueen.
He
So,
could have had both.
Rust.
It's,
forget the name.
And what did Lightning McQueen struggle with at the very beginning? Loyalty. He's fired his multiple crew chiefs.
And
He
now
had
he's
no
loyal.
crew chief for the race. Now
He
he's
found
like,
his people.
I'm gonna be loyal to my sponsor because he's evolved as a car. It's kind of nice. It's wholesome. It's cool, and I like that it like two unsurprising things in a row happen at the end. He doesn't win, and then he doesn't take the Dynaco sponsorship. It's pretty neat. I like it.
growth.
I did like his pushing the guy across the finish line.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah,
end.
going back
awesome.
and pushing Petty, the king.
Gotta
which
finish
is
your
neat.
last race, old timer. Yeah,
Yep.
that was
Super
nice.
cool. I liked that.
I wouldn't have minded like the losing the race, fine, but take the sponsorship. That's what this is all
Yeah.
I'm
about.
kinda
Like,
with you
that's
there.
a big family. Like if you want to do some good, you can do a lot of good with all that money. You can still keep the Rusty's guys. You can make them not rusty anymore with all that money.
But
Come
there's
on. Like,
another reason why they wouldn't do that. There's a real world reason, and it's merchandising. Because they
Right.
spend 95% of
Oh,
the movie
yeah.
with Lightning McQueen red, and you want to sell those toys.
That's fair.
Ooh, yeah, he can't be
But you
blue
can
at the
sell a
end of the
red
movie.
and a blue.
Yeah,
You can
but
sell both.
No, I can tell you that wouldn't work because in Sleeping Beauty, her dress changes from pink to blue, and it's still a problem. Like, what color dress does she have? It's
she's
a blue or
Aurora's
is it pink?
Pink.
Make it inside.
She's been made pink,
one
but
that's
in
like
the-
reversible.
In
yeah.
the movie, she's blue
When is she blue?
for most of the movie.
Oh, really? When did she
Yes.
become pink then? I've seen Sleeping
They
Beauty one
change.
time.
They change back and forth a lot.
Is that the one?
Also, stop making movies for merchandising. Like
Yes.
that's
you know,
the real
you know
problem.
what we have to blame for that?
Star Wars.
Who?
Star Wars.
Ooh.
It was it was the
worked it in
Kenner.
there.
It was the Kenner Toys deal in 1977, and that is why we have
Doomed us.
merchandising as heavy as
But
we
like,
do today.
I don't know. I feel like Disney's had not a lot of
Disney's
issues.
has a
They
problem-
keep changing their merchandising, especially for the princesses. They keep altering the dresses, and now they look weird.
The one I've seen recently is that
Don't
they're
like it.
too slow because like WandaVision stuff just hit the parks.
What?
What? No way.
Yes, like within 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Did it come back?
Holy
They
crap.
just had
Yeah, there's
Like,
not
there's
like
that
another
Wanda
season,
masks
right?
and
but-
ears and shit in the park stores. Just now. That's like 2 years late.
More than
More
that.
than that.
That was coming out in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Just now. So I don't know.
That's
And now they're doing
crazy.
the Agatha all along, so maybe they're
Maybe they're
like-
trying to re-jump on that bandwagon.
But I don't know. That stuff
Yeah.
just hit. It's too slow.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And then like they've been screwing up lately too because they did the whole. They thought the sequels were going to be such a hit. They did the whole Star Wars park and it references nothing but the
yeah.
sequels. And then they weren't that popular. And there's still all that nostalgia.
entire
like,
park.
Here's the whiff: is they did that right before prequel nostalgia hit, right before. And now, like they should have thought, like all of us with the money, the little of it that we have, are hitting our 30s, and we grew up with
Yeah,
the old. They
that's a good
should have.
point.
They should have just tailored to,
I mean,
don't know.
that's what Harry Potter did, and that's been arguably more successful.
Harry
like
Potter?
the Harry Potter world
Yeah,
over at Universal.
But that didn't have really eras.
No,
But
but,
it was
like
way
they
past when the
they
movies-
tailored to nostalgia, and I
Yep.
mean,
Is it earlier stuff?
Yeah.
well, there's no later Harry Potter. It's still
Well, there
it's
is
one
Fantastic
thing.
Beasts though.
That's true.
But that's prequels stuff. So
Yeah.
which they're doing Harry Potter again. Which wow.
No, I don't know that much about
I
it,
think
but
it
I feel
worked
like the
good
first
as
one
a
was good.
series though, because you can do more
You could.
stuff.
They were trying to get the original
But
Dumbledore's
casting is gonna be a
son
nightmare.
to be Dumbledore in the new one,
Yeah,
and he said, "No, I would never do that. Why are they remaking these? The movies were perfect."
that's
great.
how I feel. Like Lord of the Rings. Don't try to redo Lord of the Rings. Don't try to redo Harry Potter. Don't try to redo some of these. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is a particular problem because the reason that people like Steven don't like Rings of Power is that they don't have the rights to all of the book material they would need to properly tell those stories. And they're going to run into the same thing with Hunt for Gollum. They don't have the rights. The Tolkien estate has not given them the rights to enough of
So then they probably can they reference old stuff?
There's
Like, how does that-
there's appendices and whatnot that they're pulling from for Rings of Power, but they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, I don't think, which is really what they should be using to tell that story. So it's a pickle. It's rough.
Pickle.
So and it's hard because it's the fault of the Tolkien estate for not opening up and giving them the information they need, and it's the fault of Amazon for continuing to make it.
They would butcher
for
it.
wanting money?
Well, they
Hold on,
are.
hold
They
on
are.
to it. Don't give them their rights.
Right. So
They don't
I know.
deserve it.
I've heard better things about Rings of Power too, but I do the first. Wow. Bad.
Anyways, should we do a hit, min, or miss
Yeah,
for
let's get the
cars?
hell out of here. I don't want to talk about anything anymore.
I'll start. This movie's a hit.
Oh,
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm sick of it, but it's good. Hit, I guess.
I'll give it a hit.
Yeah.
It's a good kids movie.
Here comes Carl.
Carl. Miss.
Sorry, I don't know if it's just because we watched so many movies about racing or cars this
It's
month.
been
and I'm
a
just
lot.
like
That's
so
true.
burnt
That's
out,
my
and I was
bad.
dreading watching this because I think I watched it in 2006 and then never again. But
Yeah.
it held up better than I thought it would. But I'm gonna go with mid. I
Yeah.
didn't really care about like the romance angle or anything like all that kind of. I was just like, all right, it seemed a little long. The pacing felt kind of slow, but I think it's a pretty solid movie. But mid for me.
Would a kiss be a fender bender?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how
That's a
aggressive.
bumper bump.
Like, do they just like tongue?
They're just like
Yeah.
Yeah, what
'Cause
if
they
a
don't
train
have
doesn't want to be a train
lips.
anymore? What if it wants to be on the highway? Or what if a plane doesn't want to fly cars around?
it's
Like you're
never mind. Never mind.
Oh my god.
Never mind.
like,
Are there planes or
Hey.
do they just like get on cargo ships? Well,
well, there was
planes.
helicopters and stuff that were flying.
Right,
and,
but what
like
are they-
Mater was in one, so it's
What
like,
do
does
they-
it?
like
like-
what purpose does a 747 serve in the Cars universe? There's no people
Right.
to carry around.
Yeah,
You could get,
Is there a
but
space
you could
shuttle?
get a car. So you could still
I
get the
think there
car
was in
faster.
other movies. Yeah,
Like if a
I
car
don't know.
needed to get from one side to the
Yeah, but
other.
how expensive would that be? Because you can only fit 3 or 4 cars in a 747.
and what do they need money for? Yeah, are they just buying gas?
Yeah.
Is there currency?
How do they eat?
Yeah, like, there's
it
we've
just
already
gas?
we've already talked about this.
I think it's like
There's just
soylent
so many
for them.
questions.
They get all their nutrients from fuel.
and the way their eyes look really
Where did
irks me. It's like it's so bizarre looking. It's just like this impossibly smooth, like white
Glass.
glass with eyes that just move.
Yeah,
It just-
because they have
it's
to
something
make
about
the
it. I'm like,
whole
it's very
thing
uncanny.
eyes.
Yeah, there were some cars like Doc and I think Mac who had like the divider
split
windshield
window,
line,
yeah.
which worked. But I was like, the other ones, there's just like these two little, like human eyes with like doll eye like detail. One just like it just didn't. It really weirded me out. I don't know. I kept looking at it like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh. I don't
Well-
know what you can do to fix it either, but yeah.
Carl's our holdout. It's
Sorry.
a good movie, but oh my
Sorry,
god.
David.
I could go maybe the rest of my life never watching it again.
Yeah, I'll probably wait another 20 years.
Yeah. We digress. So,
Yeah.
burping. Holy crap. What am my brain's on fire.
20
questions.
questions?
And then we would pick a movie if we knew what the hell we were watching. So stay tuned for nothing because we'll have to figure it out still.
We won't have an episode next week, actually.
We won't. Okay, that's true. Before 20 questions, we will be off next week because we're going to Maine.
We're going to Maine.
We're running away from the hurricane that will have passed at that point, and we're going to Maine to see some fall leaves because we don't
Some
get any of
fall.
that down here.
Nope.
So pretty happy about that. Let me pull up the Wikipedia page.
Beep, 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 beep.
Please hold. Play some Nick's coughing, dude. Do you have like COVID? Are you?
I hope not.
Yeah,
I
are
just
you
got
sick?
I got a little
You
tickle.
got
I
the
don't know.
monkeypox.
Taking
We're
so
good.
much vitamin C when we
Nicholas!
We're
I'm
good.
gonna fight you. If I get sick in Maine, I'm gonna drive all the way down here and kick your ass. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready for 20 questions
Let's get it out of the way. Did we watch
All
it last year or this year?
this year.
Is it a comedy?
No.
Is it
We can't.
does
be
it
out of
involve
questions,
does it
guys.
involve
I was just
superheroes?
gonna let Danielle go.
No, does not involve superheroes.
So, well, I was going to ask one question, but we've really watched only newer movies this year, so I was trying to narrow it down.
Is it considered a classic?
No.
Is it a well-known director?
Yes. That's 5, right? 5. I think we're on 5.
Is it part of a franchise?
Yes.
Is it The Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Well, that is a really good guess.
Wow.
We should have started
Lord
with
of the
that
Rings.
question.
Well, I was kind of hoping.
Let's cut it that way.
I was kind of hoping it would be too obvious,
Yeah.
but that was quick. Yeah, famous.
Dang.
How did you go from famous director to?
Well, because I was looking, I was like, okay,
'Cause
we got
George
the nice
Lucas
guys,
directed.
and we said, and you said classic. I was like, okay, it's probably.
I said
we got
it
Jurassic
wasn't
Park, we
one.
got Jaws.
Oh,
you said
that's
it wasn't a
true.
classic.
I said it wasn't a classic.
Oh, okay, well,
But either way, that would have
Then,
eliminated Jurassic Park and Jaws.
Yeah. but then famous director. And I was like, well, we got Lord of the Rings up here, and we got
That's
Phantom
true.
Menace.
That's kind of a
Yeah.
deep cut question. Famous director. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, sorry.
Nice.
We did
7
it.
questions, 7 or 8 questions.
That's
we
pretty
got?
good.
That was a quick one.
Look at
Yeah.
us.
We've been
Not bad.
pretty on it. We haven't really gotten. I think the closest we've gotten to 20 is like 14 or 15 or so.
Having the YouTube in front of me is very helpful.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you can't when it's your question.
I was just like thinking about it in my head before.
Well,
Man.
folks, we're off next week. We are going to do some. October's Halloween month, so we're going to do some Halloween adjacent. We have 2 picked out, but I'm not going to give them to you yet. And we need to pick a third because we have a. This is releasing in October, apparently October 1st, right?
Yes.
So happy early Halloween. Yeah, we're boning out. So no episode on the 8th,
Yep.
I think.
I think it's the 8th.
And then we'll be back whatever 7 days from that is. 13th.
Yeah. Math.
So we're going to go eat clam chowder and lobster rolls. And I'm going to go pray to God that the White Sox lose so I can laugh at them because they're currently winning.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
They don't want that record.
Well, I want them to have it. 'cause
I
it'd be
want them
really
to
fun.
have
They
it.
have been so horrible. But that goes without saying. So, folks, thanks for listening. Go Angels for tonight. And spooky season next time.
And spooky season. Here we go.
We'll catch you on the next one.